Cheers, I do, buckaroos. And how the heck are you? I am Tom the Beer Whisperer. And Tom the Whiskey Whisperer. It's a late night Friday. I know, man. It's the way the schedule's worked out for me lately. Anyways, I digress. I digress, man. Uh, get something fixed real quick here, and now we're back in business. All right. Cool. Anyways, how the heck are you? I am Tom the Beer and Whiskey Whisperer. I've got a few things. Went to Trader Joe's over the weekend. We don't have one here in Springfield, so I had to go out of town. I picked up a few things. I actually wish I'd have picked up more. I was buying so much other stuff that I didn't, but now I look at it and say, I should have bought 2 bottles of this. Yeah, because it's pretty cheap. So I picked up some of this Trader Joe's Kentucky bourbon, straight Kentucky bourbon, straight whiskey at 90 proof. I believe it was $14.99. So, and I haven't tasted it yet, so I guess I should hold off saying it's a bargain until I know for sure. I picked up the Simpler Times Lager, $6.99 a 12-pack. I certainly don't expect it to be great. I've had it before, but it's been several years. I don't know if they've changed the beer or if just my memory is just I'm just not remember. I don't remember it being an amber lager. Now it's clearly an amber. It's at 6.2%. And then I also picked up this Bozen Double IPA Twin Screw Steamer. At 8.4%. I've had this one before too, and I don't remember it quite being that copper either, but it certainly could have been. That's how that pours very nicely. And it was like $4.99 for a 6-pack of an 8.4 double IPA. So I'm not sure how that could not be a bargain. I did drink one of these Simpler Times the other day. Of course, it's not a great beer. It's not going to be. It's $6.99 a 12-pack. But sometimes you just want some cheap beer lying around, right? That was kind of the point. So I've got this cheap beer, and I poured me a shot, and I thought about doing an old-fashioned Boilermaker, but I've got this heavy shot glass, and it's going to make a mess if I attempt that, so I'm not going to. I'm not going to do it, man. Oh, mercy. Let's pick up this bourbon, though. Oh, biscuits. The nose is nice. Let's say you're going to get, you're going to get the usual suspects. I'm going to be a little obvious here. Yeah, some caramel, some vanilla, a lot of spice, though. A lot of oak and spice. Anyway, sláinte. Ah, there we go. That's going to hurt later. That's the first alcohol of the day. Wanted to get that out of the way. Now we're going to enjoy it. So I did pour 2 ounces into a nice glass here. I'm going to drink or need. Yeah, gosh, like I said, I was buying so much stuff that I did want to have one, but I really should have bought 2 bottles at that price. Especially going into the holiday season, you can never have too much bourbon. You can buy some good stuff, but you got to have some less expensive stuff around, right? Because you start with the good and kind of work your way down the food chain. Because after a couple of drinks, you don't need that top shelf anymore, right? Oh, mercy. I got to tell you, the nose on this is very pleasant. Almost like you get this vanilla cream-like note. A lot of spice, a little bit of cinnamon, a little bit of allspice. Maybe a hint of ginger as well, a little nutmeg, maybe just to kind of mix a baking spice, I guess I should say. Yeah, they ain't bad at all. I do wish I'd bought 2 bottles of that. Again, especially going into the holiday season. It's going to be a nice bourbon to use in an eggnog because it's not expensive. Kind of kicking myself because I probably won't get to a Trader Joe's again this year. So let's try this Boza now. What it's kind of reminded me of is, without having taken a drink, just the color and the aroma, are double IPAs pre 2010, right? Before everything had to be fruit juicy, they were malty. That's what a lot of double IPAs were then. This one would have been labeled a red IPA because of the color there, obviously. That deep amber, a very malty nose. Yeah, it ain't bad. It ain't bad. It isn't what double IPAs are in this current climate, right? So I don't think anybody younger than me is going to really like it or even understand it, to be honest with you. Somebody under a certain age is going to say, that doesn't look like a double IPA because it's not the color of IPAs these days. However, you go back about a decade and a half, and this is what most double IPAs look like. Oh, the color chart has changed. Yeah. If you look at the color chart about a decade and a half ago, and all IPAs were this color. Now, no IPAs are this color. So the color chart's kind of jacked up. The styles have gone crazy. Ah. Yeah, I would like that one back fast, so I'm taking my time with this one. Bozen Double IPA. Bozen. Beers are unique brews. Oh, excuse me. Made in small batches, our double IPA has a pleasant bitterness from the extra hops. This is one big beer. Again, I wish I had bought 2 6-packs of this at $4.99 6-pack, but our cart was already, by the time we checked out, our cart was doing this number, right? Maybe next time my wife and I should each grab a cart. But honestly, when we went in there, I wasn't thinking we were going to buy that much stuff, to be honest with you, because we had certain items, that we knew we wanted to buy, but we ended up, picking up more. I love to be able to blame it on the wife, but I can't because most stuff we put in the cart was mine. I'll be able to say, Dad, she just can't stop putting stuff in the cart. But the truth is, most of it was stuff I put in. Because I was thinking about meals, I'm thinking about cooking, but then I was thinking about alcohol too. But yeah, I do wish I had just threw caution to the wind about 2 bottles of this bourbon because it'd be a perfect, because it's not very expensive, been a perfect bourbon. It's a good quality at a reasonable price. For those of you that might say good quality top, well, the truth is, yeah, for this money, yeah, it's certainly worth the 14.99 and better than any other 14.99 bourbon on the market. But again, this would be a great bourbon just to use in something, right? If you're having a highball, your eggnog, for instance, someone to use rum and brandy. Hey man, do your thing. This is I do wish I had about 2 of these just so I had an extra one on hand. Be a good bourbon to cook with as well because again, it's a decent quality bourbon at a reasonable price. Oh, fuck me, and a horse I rode in on. Anyways, I'm tired. It's been a long week. Had my long day yesterday. Worked both jobs, just the one today. But I just been so tired. I've been having trouble sleeping, and I haven't slept well for quite some time. But I'm just trying to get through today, so because I had the whole weekend off. I don't always have a whole weekend off. And I got a couple extra days off, so I can hopefully try to wind down, ease the tension, just relax, man. Enjoy being alive. Oh mercy. Uh, yeah. I honestly, this stuff isn't bad. Picked up some rum out there. I think it was about $8. I can't remember if it was $7.99 or $8.99 to be honest with you. $8 or $9. It looked pretty good. I kind of want to try it, just see how it compares to, others, the other names, I guess. What's interesting about Trader Joe's products is that they're usually made by somebody that you know. It's the exact same product, but they're selling this one at double the price. So think of your in this case 90 proof bourbon. Think of your name brand 90 proof bourbon, and that's probably who makes this. And I'm not going to mention any names. 'Cause I don't want to get in trouble again. Don't want to get any nasty cease and desist letters. Oh, but the truth really is, it's not hard to figure out if you really, if you put the puzzle pieces together. You look at the bottle, look at where it's distilled and bottled. I mean, it's not hard to put together. See a 90 proof bourbon? Hmm. Who makes a 90 proof bourbon? It's not hard to figure out. I will tell you though, of course, it doesn't say on the bottle, but my taste buds tell me this is a traditional bourbon, right? That might be easier for you to narrow that down. It's a traditional bourbon. What I mean by that is, yeah, it's a bourbon. It uses rye as a secondary. It's not a wheated bourbon. And maybe I'm a bit of a traditionalist. I got to tell you, it's not that I dislike wheated bourbons, but I do prefer a traditional. And if somebody offers me a shot of Pappy, no, of course I'm not going to turn it down. But I mean, I remember a time when Pappy was just very accessible. It wasn't necessarily cheap, but it wasn't crazy expensive like it is now. And all of a sudden, wheated bourbons have become this big, big thing. I think, in my opinion, yeah, there's a reason why rye or bourbon used rye as a secondary grain, because you need that spice to balance the corn sweetness. Wheat does not do that. Wheat adds sweetness on top of sweetness. So I'm not a huge fan of wheated bourbons as a whole. I think there are a handful out there, Pappy, obviously, that do it right. But I think that the trend is just crazy. I just think there's a lot of bourbon drinkers, a lot of whiskey drinkers in general, to be honest with you, are just lemmings, that they like what everybody else likes, rather than, decide for themselves, oh, well, this is what the crowd says, I'm going to buy it. The proof of that is obvious. I mean, allocations. There are bourbons that haven't sold a lot ever, and all of a sudden you allocate it. Oh my gosh, we got to have it. I mean, Buffalo Trace was always one of these bourbons that was always there. It was never a major thing. It wasn't necessarily a dog seller, but it wasn't necessarily a major seller either. You make it allocate, and all of a sudden the bourbon lemmings all of a sudden have to go buy it. It's good. It's a good $20 to $25 bourbon. It's not outstanding. And if you're paying more than $25 for Buffalo Trace, well, you're just an idiot. And you're fucking the curve up for the rest of us. And the thing is, you can follow that logic all the way up from from Buffalo Trace to the next tier of wheated bourbon, to the next one, to the next one. They're just, I mean, as soon as you allocate something, you've got the lemmings that will have to have it, rather than just buy what's good, what's on the shelf. That's why I try to approach whiskey, and there are some exceptions. I'm not going to tell you there aren't. But if you look at what there's a few bourbons I have looking at, or whiskeys, I should say, looking at me right now, that I've had out for various reasons. I try to practice what I preach. I try to buy small. I'm a craft beer drinker, so I'm a craft whiskey drinker. Well, I don't want to use the term craft wine, but I try to buy small. My wife and I have been trying to get into wine for about the last year and a half or so. But rather than buy the names everybody knows at the liquor store, we're trying to find all the small wineries in Missouri, and those are what we're hitting. And I do the same thing when I buy whiskey. I've got some Gully Town right here, or some Russell Spirits Gully Town out of North Kansas City. I've got some rivalist American single malt out of Lenexa, Kansas. Yeah, I do try to practice what I preach for the most part. Now, you do have to buy some big ones from time to time, but I will never line my cabinets with the names everybody knows, because why would you do that? I can't make that logic make sense, and I don't understand why other bourbon lemmings do that. Other than they're lemmings, they want to have what everybody else has, and I've never had that gene. Right? I didn't have it as a kid. I didn't have it in middle school. I didn't have it in high school. I don't have it now. I've never wanted to be like everybody else. So I once had a friend yell at me because he said, "You never care what anybody thinks. What's wrong with you?" I think you answered your own question. I don't care what anybody thinks. I'm doing my thing. I don't want, I have this line. The only thing worse than not fitting in high school would have been fitting in high school, right? That'll lead you on a path of destruction. I got to tell you, I like Trader Joe's. I do. There are some other things people don't like about them. I'm not going to get into those at the moment. But the truth is, if we're talking about just the liquor, some of it's great, some of it isn't, but all of it's reasonably priced. And I think the same logic can be applied to the food. I think you have to know what you want, know what you want to buy. But there are certain products there that are name brand products that are going to sell for twice the price at your Whole Foods or other like stores. You're going to get cheaper at Trader Joe's, and the same logic applies to the beer and the bourbon. To be honest with you, at 58, yeah, I don't see anybody under 50 enjoying this. The truth is, because it's not what IPAs are right now. I don't think it's bad, because I remember what IPAs used to be. Right? I'm old enough to remember when this would be just a nice, malty red IPA. I can dig it. That's not bad. That's not terrible. I mean, you might not like the flavors. You might not like the heavy malt, but I don't think the beer's flawed in any way. I don't think it's brewed badly. I think it's put together nicely. And if you didn't have a monochromatic taste buds, you might like it too. Yeah, I mean, you just have to understand that not all IPAs need to taste like fruit juice. And once you accept that, mercy. As we head into the holiday season. You said holiday season, Tom. You didn't say Christmas. Well, it's not Christmas yet. It is a holiday season. We've got to get through Thanksgiving, but even after we pass through Thanksgiving, there are other holidays than Christmas. We got Kwanzaa. It doesn't matter if you celebrate or not. Just the holidays you celebrate isn't all that matters. Just because you only like Christmas doesn't mean the other holidays don't matter to other people. How about you take a chill pill and let everybody celebrate what they want to? How about that? Take a shot of bourbon. That works for me. Mellows me right the hell out. Anyways, I digress. It's been a long week, man. I'm glad I got the weekend off. I'm glad I got a couple extra days off too, man. Maybe I can, get myself some rest. My second gig is great. It really is. Working for a little brewery here in town. And I love being out there. I gotta tell you, do. I mean, it is tiring. I said, I am tired. I'm old, but it does help me relieve stress, because I'm able to talk about beer, and I'm able just to talk. I've got a lot of friends that come in, or a lot of folks that have become friends from coming in there. And I've been a local beer guy for a long time around here. There's a handful of other, of us of a certain age, right? Uh, most of us have met at one time or another, but really maybe not have known each other well. And now we've kind of, oh, okay, I know you. Yeah. But this area, I was going to say Springfield, but it's not just Springfield. It's kind of the area. This kind of Ozarks craft beer community really comes together. There's a brewery that just reopened, and I am going to mention the name. The only reason I didn't mention the name of the brewery that I work for in this video is I didn't want to seem self-serving, but I will mention the name of a brewery that's reopening, or reopened today. It was Hungry Hollow. My friend Joe Zuka out there. Joe's one of the best brewers in the state. He's certainly in the top five. There's no doubt about that. And I'm not going to get out there this weekend. Unfortunately, I would love to get out there tomorrow. Their first Saturday open, but circumstances prevent me from doing so. But Joe's doing some great beer. Joe has always done great beer. He's he's one of the best brewers in the state. He's not only, or I'm going to take it a little step farther. I think Joe's one of the best brewers in the country, but I'm going to take it a step farther. He's just a nice guy. Joe's just a good individual. So if you ever get a chance, if you're local or not, if you're ever passing through Missouri, you gotta stop by Hungry Hollow. Joe Zuga is just a great guy, and he's making some of the best beer there is. And he's not afraid to take a few chances. One thing I like about Joe, he's not afraid to say, "Okay, here it is, try it." Yeah, he's going to take a few chances, and Joe likes an ABV, and I like that about Joe. He's had to kind of, really, tame himself to make some more sessionable products, but Joe likes a high ABV, and I love that about Joe. So if you get a chance, if you're ever passing through Hungry Hollow Brewing, man. Oh, Cassville. I thought I mentioned that earlier. My wife says Cassville. I thought I said Cassville. I guess I didn't. Hungry Hollow Brewing in Cassville, Missouri. Anyways, I digress. Let's say I was tired. Yeah, maybe the bourbon is starting to catch up to me now. This is my first alcohol of the day. I shit you not, but yeah, it's been a long week, man. I am tired. I was able to sleep in today, but my body, I was able to. It's just one of the things. I had the right to remain silent. Just had the ability. I had the right to sleep in, but my body would just not let me. I just sleep into about 7:30 though, which is actually late for me. I'm usually up by 5:36. Oh, mercy, Percy. I said Cassville. Guess I did not. Cassville, Missouri. I don't know why you'd be passing through Cassville, but by golly, Hungry Hollow Brewing is just awesome. I was really glad to see them reopen, man. Um, 2020 was tough on everybody, but they kept going through there. But then Joe had some other projects in the works, and uh, some of them panned out, some of them didn't. But he's decided to reopen Hungry Hollow, and I was really glad because Hungry Hollow was just doing some great products, man. They did an oaked double IPA that was insane. And I'm hoping he does this. He had a barrel aged porter that was crazy. There's so many beers that he did were just, especially this time of year. I don't know what he's doing now. I don't know what he's starting with. I'm just in my mind. I'm thinking, I hope he's doing this. So I doubt if I'll get out there this weekend, but I'm hoping to get out there again before the end of the year anyway. A lot of it's going to be weather permitting because some of that neck of the woods gets a little tough. Anyways, yeah. Anyways, yeah, I got to tell you this bourbon. So again, the reason I pour 2 ounces neat is to show folks. A lot of folks think how inexpensive bourbon you have to do something with, right? You've got to mix in a cocktail. You've got to do a highball. You got to do something with. You can't drink it neat. I got to tell you, this isn't bad neat drinking. I mean, I'm going to take a drink. It's a 90 proof bourbon. Obviously very easy to drink. I mean, there's no face. It didn't go. It's not like drinking 10 high, right? It's not like Kessler. I'm not drinking Kessler here, people. Kessler. Oh my God, got nightmares. 10 high. Oh my God, that's terrible. Uh, anyways, I digress. Mercy. So I wanted to have all products that I had from Trader Joe's. So we started with the Simpler Times Lager. I don't I don't know why. I don't remember it being amber. I've had this before. I don't remember it being an amber lager in the past. 6.2%. Yeah, of course, it's not great, but quite frankly, at $7 a 12 pack, it's not terrible either. To be honest with you, the Bosun, 8.4 again, $5 a 6 pack. For 8.4% double IPA. Again, if you're under 40, you're probably not going to appreciate a beer like this. Quite frankly, if you're under 50, you're probably not going to. But for us old folks, yeah, I kind of remember when all double IPAs tasted very similar to this. So, anyways, I don't mind it at all. As far as the Kentucky bourbon, it ain't bad. It ain't great, but it ain't bad. There's nothing wrong with it, actually. Yeah, I kind of wish I had about 2 bottles, especially going to the holiday season. This has been a great bottle or great whiskey just to add to things, right? If you're making bourbon balls, it'd be great for that because it costs a lot and it's not, again, Kessler or 10i, right? Anyways, I am Tom, the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist. Dickie's Beer Reviews. Hey, man, I'm going to post your comment, buddy. Cheers. More 50 and I like non-boozy beers. Yeah. Well, I mean, I guess that's boozy. That's kind of up to the palate. I've had friends that taste something and say that tastes boozy to me, and I'll taste it. I don't think so. Yeah, I think it's really up to your own palate what tastes boozy and what doesn't. So, anyways, I am Tom, the Whiskey Whisperer, Whiskey Evangelist, prolific whiskey drinker, purveyor of wisdom, and damn, that ain't bad at all. Ain't bad at all, man. I don't care who you are. I am Tom the Beer Whisperer, Beer Evangelist, prolific beer drinker, purveyor of wisdom. And thanks for tuning in, guys. I appreciate it. Oh, man, it's been a long week, man. Tom's old. Tom usually only talks about himself in the third person when he's tired. anyway, anyways, I digress. Sometimes I do it for effect, right? I'm the Beer Whisperer, Beer Evangelist, prolific beer drinker, purveyor of wisdom, man. All around good guy. I should point out, and I didn't earlier, I usually point out somewhere in the middle of the video. This is obviously not my fireplace. It's a background on the television set. Nobody get your knickers in a twist, all right? Have a good one. Talk to you later.